Hello, fellow members of Earth. This is your captain speaking. Um, so let's just vent a little bit. Did anybody else feel like they just started to go a little bit crazy in 2012? If you're of my same age and my similar brain type, similar age, similar brain type, early 2000s kid, internet just really actually hit, not just because it was hitting right then because you got access to it and it was hitting, and like AI happens 10 years later, and you probably went a little bit crazy. And that's why I feel like I'm here right now. You are probably somewhere in the middle of a hypomanic episode right now. Just wondering, like, what the fuck should I do? That's the only thing on your mind. And then you're always switching between things. Your fickleness, I suppose. Fickality. That's a new word I'm making. But your fickleness is probably extremely high. I don't think being fickle is a horrible trait to have if it's in like moderation somewhat. Let's talk a little. Let's get a little bit deeper on the actual topic. When did you ever just straight up give up on trying anything new at any point in life? I swear there are people out there. I don't think it's a lot, but there are people out there who just like good, fairly decent family dynamic, masculine and female, influence, diverse character in a child, gets dopamine and testosterone, but if it's a male, testosterone boost from being involved in teamwork. They're ready for the world, fairly. I don't think anybody's quite ready when they're a young adult, but they're... And then there's just a different breed where you feel a little bit too locked in, and people try to emphasize that you have to be more of an individual, but you're a kid and you just don't get it. You think that individuality, like being the most individual, is what's important. There's all these things you can do, like have dyed hair or wear certain clothing, or I don't know, man. I'm sorry. I'm getting a little bit lost on this one. I can pause this. Let me just take a thinker real fast. I just did some push-ups. I did 23. And I found myself towards the last 3. I had this idea in my mind immediately. I was like, what if I did 40? Because I know at my most I can do 30. But I feel like I actually know my limits. You know, I maybe could have done those extra 2, but they would have horrible form. don't have I let me tell y'all about some shit. This is personal, but I mean, all my friends watch this shit. They already know. And if you watch this and you end up knowing me, cool. I have this disorder known as bipolar depression. And let me light this up. It defined very incredibly simply. It's actually just like regular depression, except depression in the psychoanalyst community is actually known as unipolar depression. So depression, you are depressed. Most of the time, you're more likely to get depressed than other people. You stay at being depressed. It's harder for you to bump out of it, whatever. Bipolar depression, known as bipolar, people be like, just bipolars, and that makes sense. They do this. So it doesn't mean you're an extra angry person. It can mean that, but it doesn't necessarily mean you're an extra angry person. It just means you're like, it's easier to get aroused in the non-sexual sense. Like, it's just easier to get engaged and fixated on shit and then lose passion easily, like burning out extra fast because you still hit into that depression. And all of this developed in my latter school years, my mid to latter school years. And that's the original topic. I told y'all I needed a thinker. I was diagnosed with ADHD over a decade before I knew that I had bipolar. And so I'm not doubting that I have ADHD. I've wondered sometime, diagnoses are just that, diagnoses, diagnostics, whatever. Diagnoses. That's how I'd say it like a real Texan. I'm sorry, y'all. Just too many tangents and bullshits. I really need to get my mind straight. I could just lament into the mirror forever. In fact, let's just make this video a little bit longer. I've been trying to upload the short shit, the long shit, the whatever shit, but I don't really have like a truly long video on my channel, and people might actually prefer the long rambles. Really get into the mindset. I'm tired, man. It really does get exhausting sometimes. Like, you might as well be active, because I feel like you're going to be only slightly more tired if you're active than if you're just sitting here dying. Yeah, I'm going to end it here.